In this video, we're going to rank the World Series of the 1990s from worst to best. We're working off of 3 loose criteria: number of games in series, closeness of individual games, and narrative. Number 10, 1994. I don't think you can have any argument against this being number 10 on this list, unless you hate baseball. And in that case, why are you watching this? Number 9, 1998. This one is pretty dull. 4-game sweep by the 114-win Yankees, the completely overmatched Padres. This at least had one one-run game in Game 3 when the Yankees overcame a 3-run deficit in the 7th and 8th to win 5-4, with a home run by Scott Brocious in each inning, and another 3-run comeback in Game 1 when the Yanks put up 7 in the 7th to win 9-6.
Grand slam into the upper deck for Tino Martinez.
Number 8, 1999. That Yankees dynasty made for some boring-ass World Series. This one at least had a bit of in-game drama going on, and the Braves were not quite as overmatched as the 98 Padres were. Game 1 saw a tense Greg Maddux versus El Duque pitcher's duel, where Maddux took a 1-0 lead into the 8th before the Yankees jumped on him and notorious heel John Rocker for 4. And Game 3 was a classic, with the Yanks falling behind 5-1 early against Tom Glavine before coming back to tie it in the 8th on a Chuck Knobloch homer.
Jordan going back to the track, to the wall, and he cannot come up with it. It's a tie ball game.
And then win it in the 10th on a walk-off homer by convicted sex criminal Chad Curtis. Yeah, well, even the good moments of this series still suck.
To be honest with you, what they told me was that they were happy it happened to me because they thought I was a nice guy and I deserved something like that.
Number 7, 1990. Another sweep, but at least this one was a major upset, with the Nasty Boy Reds shocking the Bash Brother A's. Dibble, Charlton, and Myers combined to throw 8 2/3 of shutout ball in this series. And there were 2 exciting games, the Game 4 2-1 pitcher's duel, and the extra inning comeback in Game 2 that saw the Reds overcome a 4-2 A's lead to push it into the 10th, where the game would get walked off by a Joe Oliver single.
That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none.
Number 6, 1995. Okay, here we go. This is a pretty great 6-game series. It's got 5 one-run games, including 1 in extras, and it's a strength versus strength matchup with Atlanta's Glavine, Maddux, Smoltz trifecta versus Cleveland's stacked Manny, Thome, Bell, and Lofton lineup. The arms won out, but it was close all the way. You've got a complete game 3-2 win by the Professor in Game 1, a back-and-forth 4-3 win by Glavine in Game 2, a 1-0 one-hitter by Glavine in the decisive Game 6, but the game of this series is the epic Game 3. Just look at this box score. Cleveland going up 4-1, then the Braves chipping away before taking the lead with 3 in the 8th. Then Cleveland answering in the bottom half. Then 3 innings of a closer standoff, Mark Wohlers versus Jose Mesa, before Hall of Famer Eddie Murray would walk it off with a base hit in the bottom of the 11th.
Here comes the pitcher, Espinosa. Grissom fires to the plate. The Indians are back in the World Series.
Kinda makes you wonder how this is number 6 on this list. Number 5, 1996. Okay, actually, maybe I do need to switch this with the 1995 series because at first glance, this doesn't look that great. It's also a 6-gamer, but you need the narrative angle with this one.
It takes every ounce of your heart and soul to reach that one and only championship goal. Baby.
Those first 2 games may look boring, but I think that just sets the stage for an incredible comeback. The Atlanta Braves in '96 were a powerhouse, already a dynasty, and defending World Series champs. They had been given a run by the Cardinals in the NLCS, falling behind 3-1 before outscoring the Cards 33-1 in the final 3. This team was coming in hot, and it continued in Game 1 with a 12-1 shellacking, and then a 4-0 shutout in Game 2 with Madduxing, 82 pitches in 8 innings. Down 2-0 and going to Atlanta, the Yankees were toast.
There's Yankees in Georgia, and they're right in the eye of the storm, desperately trying to survive this moment of truth.
And by the way, this was a Yankees team that hadn't been to the World Series in 15 years. Now, not that crazy of a drought for most teams, but for the Yankees, that's ages. So, Game 3, the Yankees get an ace performance by David Cone in what was a nail-biter until the Yanks were able to drop 3 on the bullpen after the Braves pulled Tom Glavine in the 8th. Then, Game 4, an all-time World Series game. The Braves went up 6-0 through 5, and boy, did this series feel over. But the big 3 were not going for Atlanta in this one. It was fourth starter Denny Nagel, who was also good, but not on the level of the big 3. In the 6th inning, Bobby Cox let Nagel try to get through the Yankees lineup for the 3rd time. He was tossing a shutout after all, but it did not go well. Derek Jeter and Bernie Williams got on base for big boys Cecil Fielder and Charlie Hayes.
1, 2, 3, now we're playing with the big boys. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this?
The Yanks tallied 3 and got into the Atlanta pen. In the 8th, the Braves went to Wohlers early for a 6-out save. Probably a smart move, go for the kill. But an infield hit by Hayes, somehow,
That will roll and stay fair. Unbelievable.
Are you ready for this?
and a single by Darryl Strawberry set the scene for this incredible moment.
In the air to left field. Back at the track at the wall. We are tied.
They'd trade zeros in the 9th, and in the 10th, the Yankees would put up 2 to win it. But the drama continued in Game 5 with Andy Pettitte throwing 8 1/3 of shutout ball against John Smoltz, who went 8, struck out 10, and allowed only an unearned run that scored because of a misplay of a fly ball in center field. Then in Game 6, the Yankees would somehow score 3 off of Greg Maddux, and Mariano Rivera, before he was a closer, would throw 2 innings of no-hit setup relief to take a 2-run lead into the 9th. John Wetland would give up 3 singles to set up a 2-out, tying run in scoring position situation.
Swung on and popped up again. Off third. Hayes has room. Hayes makes the catch. Yankees win. Oh, Yankees win.
And just like that, the Yankees' new dynasty had begun. Number 4, 1992. Man, the 90s had an amazing number of 6-game feasts for baseball fans. This one would start off with a 3-1 amuse-bouche before allowing us to gorge on 3 consecutive courses of 1-run baseball. Game 2 saw the Blue Jays come back from a 4-2 deficit against John Smoltz. They got 1 in the 8th, knocking out Smoltz, before Ed Sprague would hit a 2-run bomb in the 9th to take the lead. The Braves would get the potential tying and winning runs on base before glasses guy Tom Hankey would shut the door. Then Game 3 ratcheted up the tension with a 1-1 game going into the 8th. But before we get to that, you have to watch this play.
Von White racing back to the warning track. Great catch up against the wall. And the runners passed each other. Pendleton went by Sanders. He has already been called out. Now they have Sanders in a rundown with a chance for a triple play. Gruber did not get it.
Unbelievable catch leading to what should have been a triple play, as mullet guy Kelly Gruber clearly got Deion Sanders on the foot here. Anyway, back to the 1-1 game in the 8th. The Braves notched 1 run on a Lonnie Smith single, and then Gruber would lead off the bottom half with a home run to tie. Then, in the bottom of the 9th, Cito Gaston would have Hall of Fame slugger Dave Winfield lay down a sac bunt to set up 2nd and 3rd for Candy Maldonado.
And Maldonado takes an 0-2 pitch to deep center to win the ball game.
The Jays would follow that up with another 1-run win with Jimmy Key outdueling Tom Glavine 2-1. Then in Game 5, we got a little breather with an undramatic 7-2 Braves win. A true Normand, you could say, if you wanted to belabor this culinary metaphor.
Ouh là là. On va faire le trou normand, le calvadis ou les graisses, l'estomac creuse et il n'y a plus qu'à continuer.
A little shot of brandy to aid our digestion and get our appetites back up for the all-out baseball bacchanal that would be Game 6. The Jays would take a 2-1 lead into the 9th with Henke on the hill, but the Braves would tie it up with a 2-out Otis Nixon single.
Wowzer's being waved in. Maldonado's throw is over everything. It's a tie ball game.
In the top of the 11th, with 2 out and 2 on, Dave Winfield would step to the plate.
To Winfield, down the line, a base hit. Into the left field corner. White has scored. Alomar comes around.
In the bottom half, a single, an error, and a sac bunt would put runners on 2nd and 3rd. After a ground out to first to score 1 and put the tying run at 3rd with 2 outs, Otis Nixon would do something surprising.
Nixon bunts. Kimblin on it. Throws to first. For the first time in history, the World Championship banner will fly north.
Really, it wasn't the worst idea. If he just bunts it a little harder, he'd get it past Mike Timlin, and that's a tie game. But wow, what a way to end a World Series. Number 3, 1993. The 6-game bangers just keep coming. The This one starts with a couple of high-scoring back-and-forth games, with the Jays holding off the Phillies in an 8-5 Game 1, and the Phils holding off the Jays in a 6-4 Game 2. After a Game 3 Jays blowout, this game happens.
Baby.
4 lead changes, 4 innings of 4 runs or more, and an unbelievable Jays comeback down 5 in the 8th, capped off by a 2-run Devon White triple.
Henderson to the plate with the go-ahead run.
Then you get a 2-0 complete game shutout from a young Curt Schilling in Game 5 before you get to an absolute classic in Game 6. The Jays blow a 5-1 lead in the 7th to set up 2-on in the 9th, trailing by 1 for Joe Carter. This would be the second time in baseball history that someone walked off the whole season with a dinger.
Swinging a belt, left field, way back, Blue Jays win it! Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
Number 2, 1997. Okay, now we get to our first 7-game series, and it's a classic. After trading lopsided wins in Games 1 and 2, they give us a Game 3 barn burner. The teams would trade punches and end up tied after 7. Then, in the 9th, the Marlins would explode for 7, which would hold up after a 4-run Cleveland onslaught in the bottom half. These two teams scored another whole game's worth of runs just in the 9th inning. After a Game 4 blowout, the teams would come back for another slugfest in Game 5. Once again, Florida would take a big lead into the bottom of the 9th and just hold on for dear life. Florida had everything set up for ace Kevin Brown to clinch it in Game 6, but Cleveland starter Chad O.J. would outduel him and pick up 2 RBI hits against Brown, the first 2 hits in O.J.'s career. In Game 7, Cleveland would take a 2-0 lead into the 7th when Bobby Bonilla would go yard to cut the lead in half. Then, bottom 9, with closer Jose Mesa trying to give Cleveland their first championship since 1948, the Marlins would scratch out a run with a couple of singles and a Craig Counsell sac fly. Then, in the 11th, a single, an error, and an intentional walk would set up a classic 2-out World Series walk-off.
A liner off Nagy's glove into center field. The Florida Marlins have won the World Series.
Number 1, 1991. This was a great decade for the World Series, but this one is in a class by itself. Might be the best World Series ever. The battle of 2 teams that went last place to first place, the series had 5 one-run games and 4 walk-offs, including 3 in extras. After a 5-2 Twins win in Game 1, a drop fly ball by David Justice in the 2nd inning of Game 2 would set up a 2-out 2-run homer by Chili Davis. But the Braves would claw back into it, and might have been able to take the lead if Ron Gant hadn't been called out on this pro wrestling maneuver by Kent Hrbek at first.
It looked like Hrbek pulled him off the bag.
Then a solo shot in the 8th by Scott Leyes would put the Twins up for good. Game 3 was an instant classic. The Twins fight back from a 4-1 deficit with a Kirby Puckett solo shot in the 7th and a 2-run shot by Chili Davis in the 8th to tie it.
The hungry Twins caught a break and sent out for Chili.
Then, from the 9th to the 12th, the teams would strand a runner in scoring position in 5 of 8 half innings, the most dramatic of which was the top of the 12th, when an error on an easy double play ball by Mark Lemke would set up 1st and 3rd with 1 out for Kent Hrbek. Kent Mercker would come in for an authentic loogie appearance and get Hrbek looking. This was huge because the Twins had already emptied their bench and the pitcher spot was due up after Kirby Puckett, who was intentionally walked in a no-brainer move to force Glass's king Tom Kelly to pinch hit for the pitcher with another pitcher, reliever Rick Aguilera. He would fly out to center to strand the bases loaded. In the bottom half of the 12th, the Braves would put runners on 1st and 2nd with 2 outs for Mark Lemke. In the top half of this inning, Lemke had almost become the GOAT, in the derogatory old-school usage of that term. But in the bottom half, he gets the clutch game-winning single, which nowadays might have people asking, is he goated with the sauce?
In the parlance of our times, you know.
The next night, they'd come back for another classic. After Lonnie Smith tied it up with a homer in the 7th, a 9th inning Mark Lemke triple would set up a walk-off sac fly from pinch hitter Jerry Willard.
The throw from Matt. Here's Lemke. He is out.
Game 5 would be the one blowout, with the Braves moving ahead 3-2. At this point, this is already an incredible series. 3 one-run games, 2 walk-offs, 1 in the 12th. But these two teams were just getting warmed up. These last 2 games are phenomenal. In Game 6, Atlanta tied it up twice to force it into extras. But this was Kirby Puckett's game. He started off the scoring with an RBI triple in the first, then he made this amazing catch to rob Ron Gant in the third. Then he'd hit a sac fly to notch the Twins' third run. Then, in the bottom of the 11th,
Into deep left center for Mitchell, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Game 7 is a fitting ending for this series. Yet another extra inning walk-off. This series is just nuts. A tense Jack Morris-John Smoltz pitcher's duel. This game is pretty uneventful until the 8th. But in the 8th, things get very interesting. Lonnie Smith singles to lead off the top half, and then makes a terrible base-running blunder on Terry Pendleton's double, which should have scored him fairly easily. This base running was so bad, it kind of turned Jack Buck into the boom goes the dynamite guy for a second.
That ball is down, and a bad, well, it's off the wall. Lonnie Smith is held up at third, and he didn't do very good base running.
He indeed did not do a very good base running. But it was nobody out, second and third. It should be a good scoring opportunity still. Unfortunately, Ron Gant would ground out weakly to first, and then after an intentional walk, this happens.
And the play is to home. Out there, and boom goes the dynamite.
Then in the bottom half, the Twins get a couple of singles to put runners on first and second with one out. After an intentional walk to Puckett.
And a line drive and a double play.
Are you kidding me? 2 bases loaded jams leading to 2 inning-ending double plays with no runs scored. The Twins would get their 2 leadoff men on in the 9th, but hit into another double play to defuse the threat. Meanwhile, Jack Morris is shutting the Braves down after that 3-2-3 double play in the 8th, pitching through the 10th with only 126 pitches. So how else could this series possibly end but with a walk-off in the 10th inning?
The Twins are going to win the World Series. The Twins have won it. It's a base hit. It's a 1-0 10-inning victory.
So that's the 90s, one of the best World Series decades imaginable, even with one of them being canceled.